Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. I don't know if Brian is aware of the fact that it is Thursday, so I'll have to see. I'm having super slug out time with my computer, not you. And we're having some real problems with like it being sluggish and very weird and stalling. We've had that all morning long, and I'm kind of getting aggravated. So, let's see what we got going on here. For some reason, I am constantly not seeing my response to Tim. Okay, that's weird. Here we go. Let's get the Daily Art Show. Brian, are ya joining me this morning? Let's see. Anyone else can also join if they are so inclined. There we go. Give him the link. Let's see what he says. I see him seeing me. Maybe. He may join us. We'll see. Anything could happen. Anything. All right. All right, guys. I'm working today on Angie. Perfectly.
The front door is open.
All right. Let's see if Colton wants to join. Let's see. Colton might join. May not be Brian today. It's going to be Colton. Looks like it's going to be Pepper. Wow, this is like people roulette here. I'm like, who's going to join me? Who knows? Anybody could join.
Well, my Instagram account got hacked.
Oh no, that sucks.
Anyone watching this that follows me on Instagram, I did not change my username to Pepper DeLuke __1. I never did that. I clicked something this morning. Shouldn't have. I was half awake and I thought I was responding to a fan of one of the things that I work on, and ended up they took over my entire account, and I'm trying to have it verified right now.
Oof, that's brutal.
So
that's pretty rough.
That's why I look rough this morning as well.
Yeah.
I'll try to do the greasy hair, I guess. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I don't feel like drawing. I don't feel like doing anything.
That's fair. You don't have to draw.
I figured I'd basically come on your show.
That's fair. And you're like, I'm going to come on the show. I'm going to like cry in my beer. I'm like, yeah, you can do that. This is definitely a cry in your beer sort of thing. I've got that.
Yeah, it is.
Artists losing their Instagram accounts irritating and so frustrating. And
I reached out to the community that I'm involved in, and it basically was like, just please report it. You know, that's all I can do at this point.
I'm with you on that one. Oh man. So did you? I mean, I assume you contacted the Meta crew.
Yeah, I did, but it was a link that was like spoofed as one of their links.
Right. But I mean, like reported
that's
straight to the Meta crew.
Well, and that's on how they bypass the
two-factor.
Yeah, the two-factor. Because it was a link that was routed through Meta, and it went through that. So therefore, there you go.
Therefore, technically,
they thought it was me.
Right. I follow that.
2 years worth, more than 2 years of my life is now like hanging in a balance. I don't like this feeling.
Right.
Not only that, the hacker, whoever they are, they blocked my computer from being able to see it. However, if I go over to my husband's, I can see that they haven't taken down any of my posts yet.
Well, they probably won't. I mean, they want to be you.
If you get a thing for Bitcoin, no, it's not me. Not me at all.
Yeah, you're not trying to Bitcoin your way in, huh? Yeah, that's sucky. Yeah, we don't have Brent yet. Usually we have Brent by now. Actually, I'm also noticing I'm not getting my Discord fire, which usually says, "Hi, Discord," you know, da 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 da. Which is a thing. So I am working on characters and building my maquettes so that they're correct. And so we're doing all the codes for things, which is, you know, kind of a thing. Let's see, delete that. And I have it blocked for, you know, nudity's sake, so that nobody has to see naked people, because that freaks so many people out. Oh no, naked people. I think I even called it, oh no, naked people, as the layer. So, there we go. Let me go down here, and I think we can pretty much kill everything down on this bottom floor thing. There we go. So I'll go on ahead and switch to my monitor. Oh no, naked parts. Okay, so yesterday I finished doing Chang's character design page.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing Bennett's, because she's the next person down the command line. And I did all the uniforms for these characters already. And so we've got all of their different uniforms, and then I did all their color gradients down here, and so these are all their color codes. And
cool.
So I turn this off, this off, and then merge all of this together, because these are all the same critter. Except I better check to make sure. Because I know how this works, I will have left some little widget down here that'll drive me crazy for years. Okay, looks good. Oh, turn this on, then this on, then this on. All right. So, we look here. These are all the color codes now. I've finally sort of come up with a standardized set of colors. Yesterday was a thing that I was working on was color codes and straightening them out so that they all fit Copic markers. That way I can do pages in Copics. But it meant, kind of going through and figuring out what colors were close. Like I can't get close to my absolutely awesome blue that I love so much in Copics. Like B39 is like the closest I can get to it. So it's kind of like, this could be a bummer. But then I went ahead and changed all, since that's my perfect color of blue, I'm not going to change it. But all the other ones I adjusted a little bit so that they all fit a Copic color. Which didn't do a lot in the general way of making the characters look and stuff like that. It didn't really change a whole lot. It just changed a little. So that was kind of a thing. Up? What was that?
People are now contacting me because my account was hacked.
Oh.
So now everyone and their mother is now calling me,
Messaging
including
you
my own mother.
Including
My own
your
mother.
mother.
Like the scammer that got my account had even went into my mom. So yeah.
So you're warning everybody not to deal with your account at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Pepper Deluke __1, that's you, right?
That is my original account. After they changed the name, they changed the email, and they changed my phone number, and they changed my authenticator as well. So they literally got into my account and changed everything within a matter of minutes, and I was half asleep when they did it. I hit the wrong link. Just report it, please, as best as possible.
Right. You apparently are also right now talking about Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, that's not me.
Right. I figured.
Hey, Donald.
Donald's on here. Yeah, right?
I just wish them the worst acidic diarrhea ever.
There you go.
I'm sorry for derailing your art show. Your swatches look wonderful.
Why, thank you. But I actually am
I
okay
did
with
want to
that.
let you know that there was a company. I can't remember the name of the company, but they did actually, in fact, put RGB and CMYK codes up for all of the Copic markers.
I found that the problem I was having was I couldn't have a picker, like pick this color, and it told me what Copic it was.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's no, like RGB, what do you do? Search by 222? It's like you can't really search to match it. So I ended up just eyeballing it. What I did do was somebody had done swatches of all of the Copic colors.
Mm.
So you could load it into Photoshop and do the swatches, which was cool. Right? Fleas of 1,000 camels infest their armpits. I agree. I'm trying to figure out how to find your account so that I can report it.
Well, if you're still one of my friends, you should still be able to access.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on the app.
Oh,
It's hard to find things on the app. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that I could email you or message you through the app. That way, it would be.
Did you make a new one called DeLuca Pepper?
That was to try to get in to see what was happening, but they blocked it.
Oh.
Because it uses the same email address. So they blocked my email address too from seeing it.
There we go. I've reported it
As hacked?
as who is this account pretending to be someone I know? Submit report. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There we go. So there. I have helped out. I've done my bit for King and Country today.
Yes.
Look at me. Okay. New raster layer, and this is my ink layer. We're going to ink in on this. We have our, oh no, naked bars. So there's no nakedity. Everybody freaks out naked, and all. So I will now go in and start drawing. This way. Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like her face is kind of goofy. She doesn't look right. That's all right. We'll see if that draws badly. Because if it doesn't draw badly, then I won't worry. It may just look weird on the maquette, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. If anybody else is following Naked Talk before coffee, if anybody else is following Pepper, go on ahead and
If you're following me on Instagram, I've been hacked.
Instagram.
Please go in and
and report it as someone you know is
that
being
has been hacked.
impersonated. Right? The eyes do look possessed. Well, the eyes are always going to look possessed on Bennett because she has one brown eye and one blue eye.
I don't think that makes her look possessed. I think it's the position of the eyes.
I think so too. I think there's something wrong with the maquette. And I'm thinking I may have to go in and fix the maquette. We'll have to see.
And
But
the
I mean,
and the mouth slightly. Yeah. That looks a little bit weird.
yeah,
She
it
looks
does
like a
look
creepy clown without the makeup.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether this is going to be a thing that we need to work on. I think we need to go back and work on her. I didn't want to have to go back and work on her. Oof. Oof. It's a rough morning when you have to go back to the drawing board. I just fixed her. But no matter what, she's looking weird and funky over here on the maquette thing. So, and she's like generation 12 on the maquettes. So, I mean, like, this particular character has been around for a while. So it's plausible we just need to go back and just fix it. So let's fix it. We'll pull her out in her service uniform. Because when her face is normal, it doesn't actually look that bad. But let's take a look at some of the shaping stuff that's going on here. In her base. In her face! Yeah, after a lady's been around for a while, they do get crazy. It's true. It's a thing. I have another program that has a really cool function, which I think is neat, which is sort by what's active, which is great when you have 4,000 different morphs. Okay, let's take a look here. Doesn't really need high cheekbones. There we go. Good ones. I should warn people that the messing around with these morphs can produce some rather obnoxious things. No, I like that where they were. Well, that's part of our problem right there. The eyes were sunk in so much.
I feel you, Donald. I feel you.
Yeah. And robocalls. Ugh. Let's see. Let's see here. Kind of going through here and looking at the parameters. I think one of our biggest problems is the smile function, right? Because that chin is serious. That's part of it.
I will be right back.
You can be right back. I'm going to be right cheer.
All right.
There we go. That fixed some of that. Maybe she's a hobbit. It could happen. These things happen. We don't judge, right? I need the upper jaw. Yeah, that's much better. Although the eyes still look hobbity. And she has this angle specifically so she doesn't look. Maybe it is the eye size. Yeah. Give her more nose. Who knows? Oh, you well, not Bennett. So this is Angie Bennett is the sort of the first officer, not first officer. She's the second officer, but she's the security officer. So she has augmented arms and legs. But she's also from Renham, which, as opposed to being from Renham is a moon of a planet, but it has about 0.9 gravity, so the gravity is pretty normal. But she's from Renham, proper. We just have to figure out what's wrong with her nose. Work. That's part of it. Let's erase everything here. I don't know why I gave her so much slope on her nose. Not really sure what the heck was going on. So let's take a look at some of these nose shapes. It could be like that. That's kind of cute. Sort of a flat nose. Give her the pointed nose. That's actually not so bad. There, see, she looks less scary now.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, the maquettes always look kind of scary. That's why I draw them and don't just render them as the comics. It's because otherwise the maquettes just look terrifying. By themselves, the maquettes look terrifying, so we have to always draw over the maquettes. Yeah, because that looks really creepy and weird. Okay, so if we were to create a camera, and then top view, take that camera and move it over, because I don't want to have to re-render everything. We already did all the rendering. Like there, maybe? Yeah, that's where we're looking. Latest DAX look is fine. I'm okay with that. All right. Oh, she's looking at us. She's looking right at you, Pepper.
Creepy.
Yep. Here, render on this real quick and see what happens. Okay. Let's take this section here. Paste, and we'll see whether that turned out better or not. And part of it, of course, is going to be the fact that no matter what we do, our eyes are shining weird. And that probably has something to do with reflectivity. So let's go ahead and fix that problem. Well, that's irritating. Yeah, it's got different setups for everything, naturally. Ugh. And presets, materials presets, character presets? Yeah. UVs. Materials. Materials presets. No. Well, that's irritating. Where are we? Oh, we're in Genesis. That's why. Genesis. That's right. Genesis. How can you be deaf with ears like that? Genesis allowed is not. Is planet forbidden? Takes permits, many money more. I think it's gonna be fine. You're not bothering me at all. DS defaults. They're all defaulted now. Make sure they all have. No glowy. Oh, glowy could be fun. Glowy. Glowy would be interesting. Well, I don't know. Glowing might not be bad. Wonder what it would render like. Let's see what it renders like. Super bright. Maybe not. And glowy's cool, but not that cool. Let's see if that glows. See, now her eyes are better looking, which is good. Totally. It was like the ultimate weapon. I mean, just takes and resets the entire world. So the Daz characters that we're using are called Genesis. And so I can't stop making Genesis jokes every time I use these maquettes. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Bill
That's why
Connors Genesis or the Book of Genesis?
the Star Trek Genesis.
Ah,
Genesis in Star Trek was a device that turned planets into livable worlds.
I know what it is. I live with the Trekkie.
Oh. But it used
I
proto
was
matter,
messing
makes
with
it
you
unstable.
because the band Genesis from the 80s that had Phil Collins.
So what was it that was like the meme that's going around, which has Khan like pointing at Joachim, and Joachim's like, I'm activating the transporter now, and then it cuts back to the Enterprise, and they're like, he's beaming up Phil Collins right now. Oh no, they're after Genesis.
Yeah.
Oh well, easily entertained. Just saying.
Yeah.
If I was good, I'd do this the right way. I feel like she's not that bad. I don't like her sad. I love Phil Collins too. I like her sad eyes. She's not sad. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to unrotate her eyes. It'd be totally photogenesis. Problem is, I don't like her looking like, her angle like that makes her much more exotic than she's supposed to be. Maybe that fix some of that. Let's see if we can. Well, weird. Don't mess with eye shape. Like I said, we gotta watch out here, man. There we go. That's not. This one's probably better. That's what she looks all like. We're just messing with this, trying to. Something in the air tonight. Travel day for work. Aw. Can't really message, but Brent's listening in at least.
Yeah.
That's all right, Brent. We understand. We'll cry.
I'm sorry
We'll
I'm
get
not
over
more
it.
I'm sorry that I'm not more active like talking to you guy.
It's
Probably.
all right.
Like
You do
I
you,
was
boo.
trying to get my mind on something else, but yeah, I still have people commenting and messaging me that they want to tell me about my account being hacked.
Yep. Oh, hey, Brent, in case you missed it, Pepper's account was hacked.
On
Instagram account was hacked. So if you get the opportunity, go in. It's been changed to Pepper Deluke __1. And if you get the opportunity, go in and report it as someone you know that has obviously been attacked. Because we can help Pepper get his account back if we do that. All right. Nice. This becomes one of those. If I do this right, it's better this way. In the end, it's always better. Just so much effort.
One of my friends, basically, just to let you know, decided to give the person who hacked my account an existential crisis through them messaging her. So
Nice. And the Chinese listening also. Yep, there they are, those Chinese.
well,
I wish they made this easier. They really don't.
well, I hope they get acidic diarrhea, Donald. Acidic
Yeah.
diarrhea. That's what hackers need to get.
That's what you need them to have. Right there. Now let's see if that renders correctly. No, it's still way too bright. I swear, he said karma will get them with extra cheese. I saw that. Anyway. I like extra cheese karma, personally. I'm all about this extra cheese karma.
Extra cheese karma.
Yep.
That you're so good that you get extra cheese on everything.
Extra cheese karma. I'm telling you, this is a thing. Let's see if that's better. That looks better. Ready? It looks a whole lot better. There. All right. I'm getting all this off of here. There we go. I do think that the 50% ambiance are bringing up the ambience in it is good because I feel like I get a truer color out of it. Let's see if that looks better. We'll see. We will see. She had a bad accident, which made her lose her eye. She actually lost more than her eye. She lost part of her brain. She lost part of her body. It was a explosive decompression accident. Never want to mess with those. It's one of those things where you really, really, really want to make sure you have your spacesuit on.
All right. Well, bye, Donald.
See you later, Donald. I understand that, but I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for stopping by and listening.
Yeah. And hopefully, if you're connected to Pepper on Insta, report that account. All right, moving along there. And see, now we're getting into somewhere. It does kind of look like just Facebook. That's fair. Totally fair. There we go. Do that, do that. She takes some work because, of course, her hair isn't the way that the maquette likes to be. So I've got to do her hair in a different way. All right. That's not bad.
Brent, what are you? Oh, yes. If you want, whatever you're planning on doing, Brent, I approve.
Brent, if you want him to go on, if you want to go out and
if you want to go and up against the hacker that hacked me, then that's fine by me. I don't mind. Just report it hacked. Good.
I think we're liking this one better.
I already had one friend who basically gave him an existential crisis. So I'm really close to just basically telling the community that they were impersonating as a part of, to essentially go on there and bombard them with messages about giving my account back. I don't know if that will actually work. I don't know if it'll open people to other people to getting hacked themselves.
Right.
So I don't know if I really want to endorse it. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just there's nothing I can do. I have to wait a day, according to Instagram, and that's where I'm at. I'm really not myself right now. 85 to 90% of all my business transactions start on Instagram.
Right.
So I literally, not only did they hurt not only are they hurting my account, they're hurting my friends, they're hurting my family, they're hurting my business. They basically, I have no words other than there is a word worse than hate is probably what I feel right now. But I'm taking it out on a group of teens and a monster called the Butterfly Man. So, yeah.
Not sure what to think about that one, but okay.
Well, okay. So I looked it up, and there's actually a person that was deemed by the media in New Orleans called the Butterfly Man.
Yep.
Because he was a
And
person that
cryptid.
made. No, he's not a cryptid. He was an actual person.
Oh.
He sold paper butterflies door to door to earn money for like nickels. And he ended up killing, suspectedly, he killed more than one person because of the way that it was done. They think he killed up to 3 or 4 people. But the most famous one that basically got him thrown in jail was the killing of a 14-year-old girl. So, but I'm taking the name, I'm not taking the person, and I'm turning it into a fictitious cryptid. So, there you go.
So it is a cryptid now.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not a cryptid guy. Like, it's a cryptid. You're like, it's a cryptid.
It's a cryptid in my world. Yeah.
Right? It's a cryptid.
But like he's basically going to prey on a bunch of teenagers. So the teenagers have to fight back eventually. So
Okay. I think she looks better now, not so scary. And I have done the thing that I really should have done a long time ago, which is make them all ambient glow. Because if it glows ambiently, then I don't have to worry about weird shadows on the sets messing up so you can't see where the maquette is.
mm-hmm.
And since we overdraw the maquettes all the time, it actually works really well to do that. All right. Excuse me. I coughed right into the microphone just for you.
Wonderful.
I know. You're welcome. You're all welcome. Everybody is welcome. All right. Do the top view. We'll move that eye target over to here. And then go front view. Left view. Front view. All right. Also, other things like I realized that I have changed the hair color of Bennett to blonde. And so I probably ought to make her hair at least yellowish, so I can at least see. It's because Mayrel, when I did the coloring of Mayrel, she went more like Indian, like sort
Mhm.
of, Indian-ish, like Bangladesh and that kind of area, that sort
Yeah.
of darkish coloring with the black hair. And when I did, I realized that now Chang has got black hair and Mayrel has black hair. And so Bennett, who is the third of my trio, ought to have something not black hair. So originally she had dark brown hair, but then I was like, "Urgh." It makes her look like the other two, and it's going to be hard for them to be told apart. So I'm going to give her blonde hair so that she can be identified easily.
Mm. Sounds like
Probably not the world's biggest problem, but it's all good. She kind of has like big eyes of like, what? It's kind of cute, actually.
Take a 2-minute break.
All right. Everything else looks like it's colored correctly. All pseudo glowing. The maquette doesn't have to be perfect. So
Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna go. Snap.
I think we had this piece of music before, and I feel like it just sits there and just goes forever. And just about the time that I'm like, that's it. I've had it with the song. It ends. I feel like we've done this before. Top view. Let's make sure that this, because that's kind of blocking the. There we go. Just kind of getting the leg pouches correct. And the arm pouches. Now that I actually have pouches for my characters.
Yeah. So
Any news?
no, just from more fans, more people that are basically in the communities that
Confused.
I'm involved in, and they're like, "Dude, is this you?" And I'm like, "No," because they're now going after my followers.
Right. Yeah, they tried to get me to go too. I
Yeah.
noticed that. They hit me up with a honest, you can have Bitcoin for $1 gajillion. It's easy. Okay. Thanks, Pepper.
Yeah.
I'm like, fake Pepper. You're not a real Pepper. Oh my God. She looks surprised now.
Well, I mean, there's worse looks to look like, you
Yeah.
know.
It's true. Let's see if anything is set. Nothing is set. So if nothing is actually set, it does look like nothing is set. And then we got to go in and fix the head. Because she shouldn't look surprised in default mode.
Nope. So, yeah. I
Now
don't
she
like-
just looks crazy.
She doesn't look as crazy.
Well, now she just looks crazy, so we gotta fix that. That didn't help. It just made it look crazier. It's like I can't get. I don't want to have to permanently have, because these are all the shaping. These are all shaping morphs over here.
Yeah.
There we go. Wow, this moves everything in her face. Look at that. Moves her entire face. Maybe I'll just leave it like this. And just call that good. At least she doesn't look crazy. I mean, one could argue that she kind of is crazy, but not that kind of crazy. We don't want her to be that crazy.
Yeah. So, I'll be realistic. I don't really like some of the messages that I've received this morning so far.
Some of the messages from your friends, or just some of the messages?
Some of the messages that I've gotten in response to all of this.
I mean, like people are offended and they're never following you ever again, sort of stuff.
They're like, how could you get your account hacked? I'm like, it happened.
People are upset about getting your account hacked.
My account being hacked because apparently I am privy to sensitive information and therefore I needed to have my account protected at all costs. Well,
Oh, I
when
see. So they're upset because you've
Yeah.
compromised their project.
yeah,
I get it.
so we just
Hang in there, bro. These things happen, even to the best of us.
right. I'm trying to at least I outlined what I was doing first before I did anything. So
Well, I feel like I'm gonna have to start all over with this, which is all right. I mean, not ecstatic, but this is a better version of this maquette anyway. So That's all right. I kind of got up this morning and decided to do all the work on Bennett, and just like you, was kind of half asleep. So it's probably better to be doing a secondary work on this just to make sure that everything is correct. Another pass on it's not going to kill us. Yep. My wife is off to work.
The front door is open.
It's not the button I wanted to do. There we go. Torso. Neck. Nipples. Every time I say the word nipples, everybody's like, ooh, nipples. Like, everybody has them. And if you don't, that's a ting. All right. Means I probably should go back and redo Chang at some point too while we're at it, because she's not set up for full ambiance, but that's probably a 2-step move on her unless a 20-step move like we're doing here. Ugh. There we go. We'll get the dress uniform bits. Same thing here. There we go. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Well, I will happily keep you company. Can't fix the problem, but I can keep you company. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm writing. I just
If you can write while doing this, I can't. That's the one thing that I can't do. So
I'm formatting right now because I'm
Fair
trying
enough.
to. I'm trying my best not to like talk anymore about what's going on. Really.
Fair. All right. Save as subset. And this is this one. Yes. Don't want the camera. Otherwise, I end up with 50 cameras in here. I don't need 50 cameras, you know? Oh, you know what we're missing? We are missing her ribbons.
Messages from me.
Yes, messages from Bill.
Messages am I providing today?
I don't know. I just figured it's about time that we get a messages from Bill.
Oh.
Right? Right. We just missed messages from Bill. That's all.
I'm in the middle of doing performance reviews for myself.
Oof. performance reviews.
Yeah.
Just in general, performance reviews.
I outright said in them, I don't like these kind of rigid performance reviews. So, because at the bottom is like any additional comments from team members. Like, yeah,
Right.
I don't like these.
Right. How about that comment?
Yeah, they're a newer company, so they try different things, and I just want to make sure I'm very vocal and going, this is not one of them that you should try.
Right. That makes sense.
So,
That makes sense. So, how is your day? I mean,
not
other
too
than
bad.
writing a performance review.
Yeah, right, performance review. So, and now I need to figure out a way to deploy a website into S3, have it have review apps, staging apps, production apps, have it have various configurations based on what one you're in, with knowing that S3 isn't a responsive server like that. It's just a place to store things.
Okay.
So coming up with some innovative ways to do that.
That sounds really complicated. Well, I mean, but that's why we make people like you do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we'd all be like, we don't know what we're doing. Ticka. That didn't go well.
The configuration one is particularly interesting because there's only really two ways to do it. Either you go based on something about the visitor. So they came in on this IP address. They came in with this, HTML header tag. So something about them that
Right.
you can identify and route them correctly. The other way is to have them provide you something. So you tell me something, and then I can send you to the right place. So you tell me I want the staging environment, and then I will send you there.
That's fair.
So
Makes
trying
sense.
to figure that out.
But it is still complicated, and still kind of like, really?
Yep.
So.
Oh, and then you have to be able to handle, okay, at some point, I want the staging environment to become production.
Right.
So it has to be dynamic enough to handle that.
To be able to move to production if you need, when you get to that point.
Mm-hmm. I think I have a solution.
I think my solution was better.
Well,
it's just more work.
Yeah, your solution requires a federated user, which is good for anyone building a system out there. Have a federated user system.
Right, because if you use a Ferengi user system, you know things are going to go to bad.
Exactly.
Always trust the Federation.
Ferengis will let you get hacked.
All right. And last but not least is her dress formal.
Well, it was good talking to you. I need to get back to my...
Okay, it was good talking to you too.
Back to the work things.
Right.
Did you talk about your...
have messages from Bill?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did talk about it. You were the distraction to change the subject so that I wouldn't have to talk about it again.
Did you get an email from them about the second
No.
one? No. Okay, well that's good. They didn't automatically go, hey, it didn't work.
Right.
Well, and we've been encouraging, like I reported his account as somebody impersonating him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming a lot of people are as well,
Yeah.
A lot of us are.
A lot of people are.
So that should be cool.
You know what they need to do is have like verified, what's the phrase? Verified references.
Yeah.
So he could mark your Instagram account as a verified reference and a couple other people that he knows. And then when something gets hacked, then they can pull the references. Hey, is this person the correct person that's trying to recover it? And then you could be like, and they would send you the video of the selfie or whatever. And you go, yes, that's them.
Right. That would be useful. I don't know. It seems like it's always sort of a imperfect solution for all of these things. And I'm like, it's got to be a better way to do this.
Right. No pictures of food. It makes me hungry.
Dress whites.
All right, I'm gonna get back to work.
Okay. All right, dress whites. Because it is the Navy, and the Navy has to do dress whites.
Yep.
No. And the only bits that actually are around are the leg spats, and the only pieces that stay on the dress whites. There you go. And then her ribbons. Okay.
Luckily, like one of my friends, I felt really bad because he's actually in another country,
Uh-huh.
and he's like sitting there, and he's like, "Is this you through Etsy?" Because I'm getting these messages on Instagram, and we've talked enough for me to know that this is not you.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I've been hacked. I'm sorry. And I'm like, this person's in the Netherlands. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, this person has my address, my like actual address in like conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had his.
Well.
So, while I'm on the subject, since we're on the subject of, we're supposed to be talking about art.
Since we're supposed to be talking about art.
Since we're supposed to be talking about art. Now, I have another large piece of watercolor paper.
Uh-huh. See
Question
if I can.
would be.
No. Let's see if I can do this. There we go.
Question would be exactly what type of piece would go on this big of a piece of paper? Now, it's slightly over 18 by 24
Right.
by like a quarter of an inch.
Okay.
So
18
I'm
by
thinking
24.
it's made, yeah. So I'm thinking it's made so that you can either cut it down or, like, if you're having a larger piece, you have like a little bit of an edge so that you can like cut it to an 18 by 24 frame.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird of an odd size.
It is kind of a weird odd size, but that's all right.
Yeah. I tried measuring it in centimeters, but I couldn't find my centimeter ruler, so I only got my millimeter. And that is like a pain in the ass to try to figure out. Like,
Right.
Like, how many centimeters is this again? Like, how many millimeters makes a centimeter? I'm trying to remember my rudimentary math in this, and I'm just like, you know what? There's a reason why I stopped doing stuff that's math wise because I just no, I don't like it.
I don't even bother. I mean, I'm just like,
Right?
yeah, whatever. Math? No,
Math?
not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. I'm just saying.
Just saying, man. Just saying.
Oh, funny.
All right. Alrighty.
All right. So, what do you think you wanted to do with it? Do you think? You thinking, Lincoln?
I'm not quite sure. I have basically have that one, and then I have another one the same size as the last one I just did, which was the A-framed orange roof house.
Okay. Yeah, I like that A-framed orange roof house. I like that.
Yeah. So I have another paper that's the same size as that one.
Okay.
That one I'm still unsure of what I want to do, but I think I originally got these papers so that I could actually kind of do art pieces and try to go into galleries with them. But the only gallery, the only picture that I've ever garnered any nuance of a gallery showing was a depiction of Alice in Wonderland from the books, and then combined with the movie that Disney put out.
Makes some sense.
Which I did sell it. But the people who wanted to sell it in their put it up in their gallery for an Alice in Wonderland showing, wanted me to basically do a deal where it was a 60-40 cut. They get 60 and I get 40. But of that 40, 20% of that was going to go towards a charity, which I wouldn't have minded. However, that would have left me with a grand total of 20% of everything I did, and I worked on that worked on the painting for almost 2.5 months. And I didn't feel like that was something that I could do, because then I would have had to
You feel
charge.
like you were getting your return on it, is what you're saying.
So essentially, I don't mind doing a 60-40 split if there was an option that if the 60% was being used as the donation, not my part.
Right.
That I won't agree with.
As long as somebody else was doing the donation on it.
If you guys are trying to raise money, I'm not. I'm willing to help you, but the deal was kind of not something I wanted to do. I honestly, I was just okay, but then I found out that the gallery was part of a real estate office as well.
Yeah.
And I was then it made me even more uncomfortable. So sorry, no, thanks, bye.
Aww.
It did end up going to a very nice home. I know where it is. I see it every single time I visit their house.
Fair.
I could do another one, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It is.
Alice in Wonderland in general is any imagery is a lot of work. Now, I did find out that Winnie the Pooh is technically open source now.
As long as you use the book version.
As long as you use the original book version, yes. So no red shirt. Piglet is all pink.
Yep. Pinklet.
Owl actually looks like an owl. Eeyore doesn't have the bow.
Interesting. Not what I would have expected to think about, but okay. Makes sense.
Well, no, they put a bow on Eeyore's tail.
I know. I just never would have thought about that being the thing, But yeah. But watch out. Mess that one up. And
I know, right? Last thing you need is Disney's lawyers and intervening.
Oddly, about 20 years ago, I did a really cute little Winnie the Pooh picture based on the book version of Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
which now I could apparently sell. Who knew? Right? Kind of amazing. And put us back here like we were, because you're not talking anymore. Well, you're not talking as more something big to show. And we're going to try this again. This time, I'm going to just load.
Researchers have discovered second Earth.
Is that like second breakfast?
Yes. The only thing difference is it's another world where we all exist, but we're different.
We're different.
It's in the Proxima Centauri system.
Proxima Centauri. Mm-hmm.
Yep, Proxima Centauri. It's believed to have oceans just like Earth and may host alien life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only thinking of this because you're working on your stuff.
Right.
Proxima Centauri. Oh, I didn't realize it was actually that close to
Yep.
us. Wow.
So Proxima is an interesting star. All of Alpha Centauri is interesting because as a system goes, it's a binary with an orbiting third star. So it's a functional binary that's doing this with a third star that's doing this. So it's a trinary system, but not the way you think it would be, because it's a binary with a third star going around it.
So they have like essentially what how should I put it, like they the old myth about Earth having 3 moons at one point.
Yeah.
So it's like the opposite. They have 3 suns.
Right. But Alpha Centauri and Centaurus are the binary, and then Proxima is the third, the little outlier. And actually, Proxima orbits at such a distance that the binary would just be a rising star in the night sky if you were on the planet. A set of rising stars. They'd be constantly doing this as they go up the night sky, but it's still a wild system, but only 4.5 light years out. We could get there at light speed in half a decade.
Okay. Yay!
However,
brighter note, negative test results on COVID. I
good.
just
You're not
have a
COVID-y.
head cold. Yay!
Just a head cold.
Okay.
Got some questions going on in the world.
So you were saying, I'm sorry for interrupting.
It's all good. Nothing. It's all good. I wasn't saying anything. I was just, there is a group I started on Facebook called World Building and Universe Building. And so the whole group is all about Replace. No, I didn't want to do that. Meh. It's saying you can't really do that. Replace the figure thing. You have to save it as a pose preset and reload it. You know what? I don't want to do that. I already have the poses preset. What a mess. It's going to take longer for me to adjust it than to just delete everybody from the scene and redo it. So there's that. Kind of frustrating, but that's all right. Alrighty. And I have the naked maquette now, so I'm going to keep the camera off of here temporarily. Until I have all these guys posed.
Oh. Well, I mean, this is. I believe it's. I think we've talked about this planet before. It's Proxima B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Proxima
1.3
B.
size. Yes, it's 1.3 size the sizes of the Earth.
Right? And that's always an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I always find like this is going to be kind of cool, I think. Proxima B is the second planet in that system, which is, or second object in that system, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be always interesting.
Yeah.
Is rebuilding this scene from scratch, as we are going to have to do, because that's what we got to do. We got to rebuild it from scratch. So now that I've fixed Bennett and made her much better operating, and the maquette looks better.
I think I just want to drown in my sorrows today.
Yep. Today is the day that you just cry in your beer. I'm okay with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't wait. When is this marathon happening? Oh, Hallmark. The Hallmark Channel has announced a 40-episode marathon of Golden Girls for plus the 2011 film The Last Valentine. On
There was
her
a
birthday.
film?
No. So basically, the Betty White starred with Jennifer Love Hewitt as a widow who never remarried and thought her husband was just never found and never believed that he was dead.
Oh.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt is the one that basically helps track her down and basically tells her what happens. And basically the whole story between Betty White's character and her husband and blah, blah, blah inspires Jennifer Love Hewitt's character to go on and marry someone. It's Hallmark Channel. It's sappy romance. but they
Nothing
do
wrong
own
with
the
that.
rights to view Golden Girls in America.
Fair.
So on Betty White's birthday, which is January 17th, coming up,
Mm-hmm.
Golden Girls is going to be on a 40 episode marathon. Essentially, it's the 40 episodes that they can play on television that won't get Hallmark Channel canceled.
Golden Girls gets people canceled?
There are some episodes of the Golden Girls that, if they were aired on national television today, they would get them taken off.
Interesting.
There's episodes where some of the white characters have blackface on.
I didn't
Yeah,
even know that because, I mean, that would get you canceled in the 80s too, which is
yeah.
interesting.
It wasn't done maliciously.
No, of course not. But I mean,
It wasn't. But, like, basically, if you watch Golden Girls ever, you know that they would never, like, none of the characters themselves would ever do that to harm anyone.
no, of course not.
But yeah, there's some episodes that are like no longer able to be viewed on television anymore.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought that ever occurred, but I guess it does. So, wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking that the other day. It was like, our culture, Gesundheit, your head cold that's not COVID.
Yep.
So, I'm just fixing this. I'm fixing the entire rig here. Oh man, which I know is boring as all get out, but that's all right. There we go. And I think I'm about ready to render this guy out. Oh man, the formal is not set right. It's all right. I never know how these things work until after we've tried it.
Well, I mean, yes.
You know, we don't. Doesn't always work like it's supposed to. White's uniform. What? What? Why did you select all these things? What is it doing? I don't think it knows what it's doing. It's all right. We'll reload this picture because it's better now. But I also got a different picture, a different version of her. So we will kill this and we will kill this. And then delete that. And delete that. Okay, good. I'll delete that. Nope. And then we will open this one. Copy, because I can get around the fact that it looks weird on this drawing to complete our work. But I'm gonna have to fix the formal because the formal looks like it's gotten kind of borked. Hey, that fit just fine. Ink. Now I can share my page again. So we can see that this on the formal went funky because it thinks underneath here is this set for its ambient. That's right. I can still draw around it, but it's definitely weird. So, but we can fix it. It will be fine. All right. Technical. Let's do this. And we'll do this. So King Supers is on strike,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is interesting. So we're on H mark for a while, which is fine. But I'm going to end up with a ton of extra ramen. That's what happens when I go to H mark. I always like, oh, I need this. No, I don't really need this, but I ended up with it anyway. I love H Mart. It's a little expensive to use for my standard grocery shopping,
Mm-hmm.
but for the benefit of the strikers at King Supers, I am more than willing to.
I'm still confused on why everyone is striking. I'm just, I mean, I'm not quite sure if that helps why it's happening. I mean, I don't mind supporting, but like it's
You don't know why people strike, or what?
no, I don't know why they are striking. I don't know why they're.
They had problems with a number of issues, like safety issues and things like that, that were not being addressed. For the most part, it was involving COVID as far as safety issues go.
Okay.
Because other safety issues you're covered by OSHA. So like you can't, make people move 5,000-pound pallets with their bare hands and stuff like that. I mean, like that's OSHA regulations, but there hasn't been any regulations set for COVID. And one of the biggest problems, I mean, part of it was also they weren't getting fair pay. So there's that, which was also issue on this. But the big thing was that as long as COVID is going on, they weren't giving employees the ability to not be there or whatever if they felt like they were at high risk.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were forcing the employees to come into work even if they were high risk. And people were getting sick and people were dying. And so that has occurred now. A couple of the employees have gotten sick and died. And so the concept was that, they shouldn't be dying. People shouldn't be dying. It's important to work. It's not important to die for your work. So
Yeah.
So that's part of the deal. That's what's going on. Which, that's understandable. And they couldn't get them to bring them back to the table because, of course, we are at that same argument we're having all the way across the board, which is people are like, hey, it's dangerous for me to be at work because of COVID. I don't want to be at work. And their response is, well, what else are we supposed to do? And, so it's a difficult, I understand. I mean, I understand why they're having problems with it. So it's not like the environment is, it's not like they're unjustified, I kind of get what their argument is. You can't just say, sure, we'll pay you and you don't have to be here. Yeah. I do think some of it is also, health benefits and things like that, which is a pretty normal reason why people strike. These are all the things that I have gathered. Your best bet would be to, go up there and ask them. That's what I'm going to do at some point.
Well, there was this one person, like we were in a King Supers, like right before the weekend hit. And some lady was like, I'm gonna just do my shopping now because you guys are gonna be on strike on the 12th.
Yep.
And I'm like, huh? And the guy behind the counter is like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, not all the King Supers went on strike. So, I mean, it's only the ones who were with a specific union. So, it's entirely plausible that the guy really legitimately did not know what she was talking about because he wasn't striking.
Yeah.
However, my local King Supers is striking. So, there, she looks a whole lot better. Yeah, that's going to work a whole lot better. Less terrifying. Much less terrifying.
No more clown.
No more clown. Much less terrifying.
Let's see if the one in Loveland is striking.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that all of the Arvada ones are striking. It's all right. Like I said, I'm totally okay with going to H Mart for a while. It's not going to kill us.
See, we don't have H Mart. We have Safeway up here.
That works too. Of course, people are reminding people that you don't want to switch to Walmart because Walmart mistreats their employees too. They just haven't gotten organized yet because the Walmart crushed the union from forming.
Well, let me back up a second because I worked for Walmart for a little bit, and I do know the reason why the union thing was squashed. In order to get a union inside of a Walmart store, you have to have permission to put a union in the store from every single employee in the store.
Right.
It has to be a very unanimous vote. Not like one vote off, like one vote for not putting it in the store literally will derail it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm saying is any type of union that tries to go into a Walmart employees are allowed to implement it in the store, but if it doesn't work out or if a vote happens to remove it and someone is basically in favor of removing it, they will remove it. That company policy has been built in from day one of Walmart when they
Doesn't surprise
incorporated into
me.
a
I
larger
mean,
brand.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So, um, so like when everyone sits there and brings up the whole like Walmart squash their unions, I'm like, no, they didn't. They never squashed their unions. They never had them.
They never permitted them in the first place.
Right. So,
Which I don't understand how that is a logical thing.
um, well, at the time when I was working for them, the reasoning behind it was Walmart itself um, has its own type of style of union within the HR process. So essentially, they do have a lot of benefits. Well, at the time, they had a lot of benefits that you could benefit from for having that there. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but from an outside point in, it's kind of like saying, uh, the Chinese government promises you that the Chinese government has Chinese government watchers that make sure
yeah,
the Chinese government's doing the right thing. I mean, as
yeah.
I am, this is one of those points where I become super liberal, but I don't trust companies to do the right thing. And
Well,
I mean, and it's panned out. I mean, we had kids working in coal mines for a very long time, and it
yeah,
was unions that stopped that.
right.
Um,
Yeah, like basically, I say this, but the place that I worked at, the Walmart that I worked at, one of my coworkers, two of my coworkers, were screaming obscenities at one another, and no one got in trouble. No
right.
one got written up. No one did. No one did anything. Everyone just kept their heads down. And finally, I had it after 3 months of hearing one person call the other person the N word the entire shift. I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And when I put in my 2 weeks notice, they basically said, like, well, wait, didn't you leave your last job because of something like this? And I was like, no, this is a different situation. And I explained the situation. And they were like, well, maybe it's you.
Right.
And I'm like, how is it me having a problem with one of my coworkers calling another coworker a derogatory slang word that shouldn't be allowed? And you're allowing the person who's using this slang word to stay as an employee. Like, I don't think that it's my fault. I think you guys need to do
They
better.
just didn't want to have to pay you benefits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of my problem. I have not I've never been to a business, ever worked for a business that didn't do something at some point in time, which was like, well, it's going to cost us $1,000 to do X, Y, or Z, so we're not doing it.
Right.
And people are going to get hurt for it, but you know what? It's cheaper for us to take the lawsuit if it ever happens, or something like that. And it's like every business I've ever been at's been like that. It's well, we've got to value how much a human life costs, I guess, but hey, we'll do it, and that's fine. Yeah. It's like,
Well, I've also worked with a bunch of companies that decided, oh, well, we told all of our employees we're going to be getting a whole bunch of things for them to do and hire a bunch of people. And then when it
know,
came to hiring the bunch of people, nope, no one was hired.
yeah, they'll never do that. And that's the other thing is like, oh, we need a ton of help for this job. Yeah, too expensive. You guys just have to work extra hours. I don't want to work extra hours. Well, then you'll get fired. I don't want to get fired. Well, then work extra hours.
Or
And
instead
it's
of
like,
extra hours, you basically have to do twice the amount of work that you were doing beforehand.
Right.
in normal hours.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen businesses. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously. There's always exceptions, but I've never seen businesses that had the employees as a priority. It's always I'm sorry, this is gonna take away all your nights and evenings, but it's the way it goes, and we can't afford to hire more people, and so suck it up, buttercup. And you're like, I don't want to suck it up. It's like I got I want to go home and watch TV with my wife or whatever. I don't want to. So I think one of the most interesting tricks that's going on right now in our culture is the one where they're making unions look bad and people hate unions.
Yeah.
I think that's a interesting trick. Oh,
Well, I
unions
don't.
just cost money and they don't help you. Okay, that's fine.
There
But
are incidents. There are things about certain unions that I do not like. Like,
sure.
I do not like the fact that teachers' unions take so much from teachers.
I don't have a problem. I don't miss. I guess I should say I don't. When it comes to unions, there will always be people who abuse unions. I get that. They
I
charge you
know.
money, and since you have to be in a union, like I remember my mom having to um, stop having certain actors because the SAG and AFTRA said you either unionize or we won't let you have union actors. So you have to
Right.
choose either to have non-union actors only or you choose to have only union actors. And she was really mad about that. And I remember that. I mean, it's not like unions aren't jerks.
Right. It's like kind of like my mom got around. Like my mom was a substitute teacher,
Mhm.
so she didn't have to be part of the union at all, unless she
Right.
got a permanent teaching position in the state of Florida. But I know people who are teachers now, and they tell me about some of the fees that they have to do, and they're forced to not work on days when the union decides to make a strike, even though they may not believe the same thing or feel like they should strike with the union.
Right.
They're like forced to strike. There's nothing they can do about it. And like a lot of school systems, they don't at least in America, they don't allow you to opt out of a union.
Well, yeah, you can't opt out of a strike. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, and you can't opt out of a union, and you can't opt out of the strike either. So a lot of
Right,
people,
but I mean if you opted out of the strike, then you're not helping the situation at all.
right?
So that makes some
And
sense. You can't
yeah,
just say I'm not going to go on strike. I mean, you can opt out of picketing. You don't have to picket,
right,
but you can't just say I'm going to go to work. The whole if you did, then the point of the strike would be completely useless, right? Because like
right,
we're working for better wages and we want better medical benefits, and I'm the only one out there on the picket line. The rest of the guys go to work. Then the business is like, don't care, you know. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, no. I mean, I get it. So you can't opt out of a strike. Oh, that looks cool. She doesn't look bad at all. Yeah. So you can't. Yeah, I get that.
like
The
it's one of those things of when you have an organization that's supposed to be helping you, but then you're forcing them to go along with something that they may not believe in. That is where I have an issue.
well, now in this
It's the
instance,
same
though,
reason why
I
I have a
mean,
problem with people going over to other countries to convert them into different religions.
right, but there's a difference, and that is usually, in theory, the union isn't forcing you to believe something you don't want to believe in. It's you guys have voted that this was bad. Because that's usually what happens in a union is, we all get together and we say, Pepper, you and me, let's say it's you, me, and I don't know, let's add Colton in here. And all three of us are in the union and they say, hey, we're not getting paid enough as artists. And you disagree, but Colton and I both vote yes to strike. It's not a matter of, this is
Yeah.
back to when you put it to it, if you want a democracy to work, you have to accept that you got voted out, and you have to accept whatever. Otherwise, it's every man for themselves, and it's just an anarchy. You can't. That's the only way. It's either a dictatorship, or you have to accept that the vote doesn't work. Or the vote went against you. So it's not about belief, because I think that a lot of people think that unions, like there's some dude in the union who's like, I've decided we will now strike. They vote. They all have to vote. And so
Oh no, I am fully aware of that. The problem is for me, this is just for myself.
sure.
This is just my viewpoint. I'm not saying that if you don't want to go along with it, that's fine. If you want to participate by saying you don't agree with it, but you don't want to be on the picket line, that's your choice.
Yeah.
That I can, whatever you decide is your decision. What my problem is when it doesn't go to a vote and the board of the union is the only people making the votes.
Well, that's
Forcing
not
everyone-
a good union, and that's part of the problem.
That is my problem.
But
Now, in this case,
most
I
unions,
think everyone who's participating in it is probably like cast their vote, did everything. It is what it is. I don't know how long this is supposed to go. So,
right. But that's the thing is, like, if it's on the level,
mhm.
and that's a big if, and I get it. If it's on the level, then the union should be a vote, and at which time you vote to strike or you vote not to strike. But even teachers unions, which everybody whines about and complains about, even they had to vote. You vote to strike.
Yeah.
So before teachers go on strike, they vote. It's one of the reasons why you don't get strikes that often, is because the votes kind of are slow and ponderous and take time, and it's sort of a problem. So but that's the thing. I have never heard of a union that only 5 people voted or whatever, like the board of directors votes to strike. A strike is a big deal. And so to go on strike, you have to have clearance from the members of the union.
Right.
You don't get, and if it isn't, then it's pretty clear it's a corrupt union and everybody can see it. And, it's kind of like, but the alternative here is if you don't have a union, then the company is responsible for being good. And there's nobody to check them. And you just have to work or you get fired. And that's just the way it goes. And so if I decide you have to do 60, 70 hours this week, you just have to. I have to pay you because there's a law about it. But you just have to do 60 hours because what are you going to do?
Right.
And that's the problem.
And also at the same time, like, not to say like all unions are corrupt or anything like that. Like my union like the only time that I was ever involved in a union, I was never given a choice to not be in it. Like I had to be in it. If I wasn't in it, then I couldn't work.
Right.
And like those types of restrictions, granted, yes, I understand you may have to be in a union to work in certain places. That's great. But then you require people to have experience in that field before you are allowed into the union, because they won't give you access to the union beforehand. Which means, this is something that happened to a lot of my friends in the film industry. In which case, people there, they had to show that they worked on non-union movies, projects, and everything for a number of years before they were allowed into the union. And so some of those projects that they could talk about with their application, they had to leave off because if they were union projects or union films, they couldn't say they worked on those.
That's right.
So they had 2 resumes. One resume that they gave, basically like the CV and resumes that they gave out, they had multiple versions just to basically make sure that they covered all the projects properly.
And though I don't disagree with what you're saying on that one, it's not that hard to get into SAG, as I recall. Screen Actors Guild.
When I'm not talking about actors. I'm talking about people who operate cameras, booms, mics, pretty much everything on the background sets, costume designers. All these people have to become part of a union, and they have to work for, I believe last person that I talked to, they had to do it for 3 to 5 years before they could be allowed into the union for that role to get better paying jobs on films and media.
Because I'm looking, I mean, yes, you're right. There are different unions, but I'm looking at my mom was a talent agent. So the one that I know the best is SAG and AFTRA.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, SAG and AFTRA, I will say, SAG and AFTRA, you can apply right away. You do not need to have a lot of experience.
What you need is, it says you need to prove that you're employed in a union thing.
Yeah.
That's all. So SAG and AFTRA membership is available to those who work in a position covered by SAG-AFTRA. Collective, so all you need to do is you must have completed, providing that any person qualifying through work as a background actor must have completed 3 days of work as a background actor under SAG-AFTRA. And then membership is available to those who work 1 day of employment. So that means you have to be able to, and this is as a recording artist as well. I mean, by the nature of this, you have to be able to work on a non-union, or as a non-union on a union project, because you have to work 3 days. So you'd have to, if you were a background actor for only 1 day, you'd have to go for 3 different projects.
Yeah.
The 3 days to get in. So it means that, Harry Potter or whatever is covered by SAG-AFTRA. They're going to have to get background actors that have not been covered, non-union.
Right.
Because otherwise, there's no way to ever get into SAG and AFTRA.
Right.
You can't work on a union project, and you must have worked on a union project in order to get in. So, that makes some sense. So there's that. And I think the other groups are like that. I'm not sure. We'd have to look into it. But it's 11:12, and I'm going to go get food because I'm hungry.
Well, I'm going to go get food too. It's not going to be in the same place as you.
No, because if it was, we'd be driving a lot, and I don't want to drive a lot because I'm hungry.
I think it's just going to be upstairs. So.
Right. I'm going downstairs to get food out of the fridge. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to
Thank
go
you
upstairs.
for joining me.
You're welcome. I'm sorry for being so somber today.
Nah, it's all good. And actually, I hope that we straighten out your Instagram account. So
it will be difficult, but
yeah, it's not going to be any fun, but I hope we figure it out. I hope everything goes okay.
Me too. So, all right. Well, talk to you later, guy. Bye, everyone who's still watching.
Yeah, I think Brent's
everyone.
listening. So
popped in
that.
Brent and Donald, as always.
As always. And Ghost Hand was here too for a little while.
Oh, hi, Ghost Hand. Bye, Ghost Hand.
Good to see all 3 of you guys. Okay, I will see you tomorrow, maybe, and you can join me for artist check-in, and we'll see what happens. And for everybody else, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.
Computer, good night.